Eso. Venga. 5, venga. 1, 2.
Canelo Alvarez is deep in the trenches of intense, focused training as he prepares for one of the biggest challenges of his career, a high-stakes clash against Terence Crawford. With his sights firmly set on victory, Canelo is dedicating himself fully, aiming not just to win but to deliver a definitive knockout. As Canelo fine-tunes his game plan, boxing voices around the sport are chiming in with their thoughts. One of them is Abel Sanchez, the former trainer of Gennady Golovkin, who didn't mince words when asked about the matchup. "I think Canelo will stop him," Sanchez said. "And it's not because Terence lacks talent. Terence is a tremendously skilled fighter. But we're talking about a big man who's used to fighting other big men. Eventually, he's going to catch Crawford, punish him, and hurt him." The looming concern for Crawford is clear. While his speed, footwork, and slick ring IQ have helped him dominate smaller opponents throughout his career, Canelo represents an entirely different kind of threat. With his natural size, power, and experience against elite competition at higher weight classes, Canelo may simply be too much for Crawford to handle over the course of a grueling fight. As the bout draws closer, many believe it's only a matter of time before Canelo lands something that changes the momentum or ends the fight outright.
Canelo Alvarez. We all know Canelo is great. We all know he's big. We all know he's strong. He got good timing. He got good punching power. He moves his head well. He's a good counter puncher. We all know all that things about Canelo.
Terence Crawford has openly acknowledged the impressive arsenal that Canelo Alvarez brings to the ring, from his explosive power to his slick head movement and sharp counterpunching. Still, Crawford isn't fazed. He's not backing down, and he's confident that he has the tools to neutralize Canelo's size and strength with his own elite-level skill set. Determined to prove that size isn't everything in boxing, Crawford is embracing the challenge. He's been through tough wars before and believes that his experience, ring IQ, and adaptability will allow him to weather the storm Canelo is sure to bring.
Possible that guys like in here, especially the pound for pound kind of guys.
Yes, like Crawford. Anybody that good, you know, you can never count out as good as Crawford. But we got weight classes for a reason, and I love Crawford. You know, even Canelo still being on the back end, I don't think that Crawford can beat him. You know what I'm saying? Like I think you know that, and this I could be wrong. But I look at the kid, Madrimov. Crawford was having a tough time.
Lonnie B has a deep respect for Terence Crawford's talent, but he believes the weight difference will play a crucial role in the outcome of this fight. While he acknowledges Crawford's undeniable skill and ring mastery, Lonnie feels that Canelo's size, strength, and experience at higher weight classes will ultimately be too much to overcome. "Crawford is great, no doubt about it," Lonnie said. "But stepping in with someone like Canelo, especially at this stage and at this weight, might just be a bridge too far." Despite his admiration for Crawford's accomplishments and ability, Lonnie B remains unconvinced that he can secure a win in this matchup.
That Crawford to be boxing good for the first half, but I think in that second half, he's going to take a lot of punishment. You know what I'm saying? I think Canelo hitting him on the hips, shoulders. Just he gonna realize I see why we got weight classes. To go up 2 weight classes, skip 54, 60, and go to 68. That's tough because you know Canelo gonna rehydrate. What you think gonna rehydrate to 190? And so then you gotta ask yourself this: is Crawford gonna be strong enough to keep him off?
According to Lonnie B, Terence Crawford may find success early on, using his boxing skills to control the pace and stay elusive. However, as the fight progresses, Lonnie believes the physical demands of facing a naturally bigger and stronger opponent like Canelo Alvarez will begin to take their toll. He predicts that Canelo's signature power shots, especially those targeting the body, hips, and shoulders, will start to wear Crawford down round by round. Lonnie emphasized how challenging it is to jump up 2 weight classes, noting that even a fighter as skilled as Crawford could struggle to cope with the physicality and relentless pressure Canelo brings in the later rounds. The weight difference isn't just a number on the scale, Lonnie explained.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think, in them later rounds, I think Canelo pressing, using his jab and getting hit with some hard jabs, and him got to go back to the corner and knowing, man, and Crawford ain't going to stop him. Last time Canelo ain't never been stopped. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, he ain't going to stop him. So I got to go out there for it again. And Canelo do a lot of tricky stuff, and Canelo keep the pressure on you. And I think he better keep the pressure more on Crawford. Crawford's a naturally smaller guy.
Lonnie B believes that as the fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford wears on, Canelo's relentless pressure and powerful jab will begin to break Crawford down. He envisions a scenario where Crawford is forced to dig deep just to keep pace, knowing that stopping Canelo is unlikely. Despite Crawford's skill, Lonnie questions whether his size will be enough to withstand Canelo's tricky, methodical style and the constant pressure he's known for applying throughout a fight. He points out the uphill battle Crawford will face as the naturally smaller man, especially once Canelo starts to close the distance and impose his physicality. In Lonnie's eyes, Canelo's consistency and size advantage will gradually chip away at Crawford's stamina and ability to execute his game plan. Expanding on his thoughts, Lonnie emphasized the critical importance of weight classes in boxing, especially in a matchup like this. "I think that fight will go the same way no matter what," he said. "Even though Crawford is extremely good, one of my favorite fighters, a very good boxer, we have weight classes for a reason. I believe a good big man always beats a good small man." While Lonnie has great admiration for Crawford's talent and boxing IQ, he remains firm in his belief that the size and power advantage Canelo holds will be the deciding factor. No matter how skilled Crawford is, Lonnie sees Canelo's physical strength as the element that will ultimately tip the scales.
Well, look, I mean, I've been in this game for such a long time, and I like to say I'm a historian. There's never been a good little man that beats a good big man.
Oscar De La Hoya, a seasoned veteran who's seen it all throughout his storied career, weighed in on the ongoing debate surrounding the size disparity between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. He echoed a familiar sentiment in boxing, that a good big man typically beats a good smaller man. In De La Hoya's view, while Crawford is immensely talented, Canelo's physical advantages, particularly his size and strength, will likely be too much for Crawford to overcome. As much skill as Crawford brings to the table, size matters. At this level, De La Hoya noted, history has shown us that more often than not, the bigger man prevails when both fighters are equally skilled.
I mean, the exception is maybe Pacquiao beating me, but that situation and scenario was like totally different. I was at the end of my career, and I was a shot fighter, and Pacquiao was coming up and he beat me. But a good little man, which would be Crawford, just has never beat a good big man, which would be Canelo. In the history of the sport, it just.
Oscar De La Hoya pointed to one rare instance in boxing history where a smaller fighter overcame a larger one, his loss to Manny Pacquiao. However, he was quick to note that the circumstances were unique. At the time, De La Hoya was nearing the twilight of his career, while Pacquiao was in his prime and surging in momentum. It wasn't the typical case of a smaller man beating a larger one at equal points in their careers. He emphasized that, generally speaking, the trend in boxing has held true.
Crawford can do it. Jesus Lord. I mean, give this man, the title of being the greatest ever, you know? And then that's probably the motivation for Crawford. That's probably the motivation for his camp, for his, for his corner, for his trainer, is that, look, if you beat Canelo, you can go down as one of the historical best fighters ever on the planet. That's enough motivation for any fight.
Oscar De La Hoya acknowledges that if Terence Crawford manages to pull off a victory against Canelo Alvarez, it would cement his legacy as one of the greatest fighters in boxing history. He believes that the magnitude of that possibility is a major motivator for Crawford and his team. The chance to etch his name among the all-time greats is a powerful driving force for any competitor. De La Hoya stressed just how significant this fight truly is. A win over Canelo wouldn't just add another belt to Crawford's collection. It would catapult his legacy to legendary status.
But I just don't see it as a fighter. I just don't see it. I mean, Canelo is a big puncher. Yeah, he walks on quicksand, and that's one thing that Crawford can use against him. But the pressure of the heavier guy. Canelo will be 200 pounds up in that ring, So it's a tough fight, but look, I give all the credit to Crawford. If he pulls that one off, Jesus, he'll be the messiah of boxing, of fighters.
De La Hoya points out that while Crawford may find openings and look to exploit Canelo's vulnerabilities, the sheer power and relentless pressure Canelo brings will be incredibly difficult to overcome. He noted that Canelo could weigh as much as 200 pounds on fight night, a staggering physical challenge for Crawford to deal with. Still, despite the long odds, De La Hoya expresses deep admiration for Crawford's skill and heart, acknowledging that if he pulls off the upset, it would instantly elevate him to legendary status.